All right, this thing should be live. It should be working. Welcome back to a live stream, another Durant live stream. This time it's on game 2. 2 nights ago, we talked about game 1, and that stream went pretty well. The audio was a little bit lagging toward the middle of the stream, but I did fix it. I tweaked a couple of settings, so hopefully it's a lot better. But again, if you're just joining us now, we're going to be talking about game 2 of the finals. If you're coming back from the game 1 stream, welcome back. I appreciate it a lot. And let's just start it off right off the bat. I think we're in territory to ask the question, are the Cavs done? And I'm not saying that because I think it's a done deal. I'm not saying that because I think the Cavs are done. I'm only saying that because, look, the Warriors are up 2-0, and in both games they won in pretty convincing fashion. So I want to ask you guys, is this series a done deal in your eyes? Are the Cavs done? How many games can they realistically win based on what we've seen and what we know from the last 2 series that these teams have played each other in the finals? Answer those questions for me. I would love to hear what you guys think. I don't think it's done. You know, these past couple of years in sports, not just basketball, but you talk about, you know, obviously LeBron coming back from 3-1. You talk about the Cubs coming back from 3-1 to win their first World Series in, 90 years or 80 years or whatever it was. And then you talk about Tom Brady and what the Patriots were able to do against the Falcons in that second half. You can never really count anyone out. So, I think sports predictions have really gone out the window in the past couple of years because we've seen some amazing comebacks and answers from teams that were down, and people are counting them out. But I want to know what you guys think about this particular series, the Cavs. Are they done? Can they come back? How many games do you think they'll realistically win? In my personal opinion, again, if you weren't here for the first stream, I said that I was leaning more towards the Cavs, but I didn't feel good about it. I didn't feel good about really any prediction, even if I picked the Warriors, because what we've known in history from these 2 teams and what we've seen on the floor from them 2 in the past couple of years and this regular season and in the playoffs in each respective conference, it was just really hard for me to make a prediction. But the way LeBron and the Cavs rolled through the East, although they did lose 1 game and the Warriors didn't, it's just the eye test. I was leaning slightly more towards the Cavs. But now after these 2 games, I think it's okay to lean slightly towards the Warriors. I mean, they won in really convincing fashion pretty much both games, although this game was a little bit closer than the first one. But I think that any non-fan of a particular side, if you're not a Warriors fan, if not a Cavs fan, I think, you're probably leaning more towards the Warriors right now. But if you're leaning more towards the Cavs, I can understand that because LeBron definitely deserves that respect after what he's done in his career. And Kyrie is another guy who's proving himself to be a very clutch player. So I'm not counting the Cavs out whatsoever, but I do think the most realistic outcome right now is the Warriors winning this thing. It's just a matter of how many games. I think the most realistic option is probably 5 games, just based on what we're seeing in this series. If you just isolate it to the facts that you know from this series, I think 5 games is the most realistic expectation. But I think 6 is the safest bet. That's kind of like, like I said in the last stream, I don't like predicting game 7s. I just think, especially in that game 7, anything can happen. It's 50-50. It's a pick 'em. No one's right, no one's wrong. So I think the safest bet is 6 games. Most realistic is 5 games. I think it's highly unlikely that LeBron and this Cavs team get swept by this incredible Warriors team because, again, LeBron and this Cavs team is an incredible squad in their own right with incredible talent. So I don't think, I just can't see them being swept. Do you guys think they'll be swept? Let's check the chat. And again, thank you guys for joining. I love this is my favorite thing to do on YouTube, hands down. It's not even a conversation. But I'm gonna check the chat, and I'm just gonna speed fire a couple of them. I see Space Kick says, nah, Golden State in 5. JR says Warriors in 5. He's got a Warriors photo as his profile pic though. So Go Vlogs, no photo for his profile pic. Cavs in 7. That would be the most entertaining outcome. I agree with you. Austin Bennett, he says the Cavs will do better when they play at home. The atmosphere in Golden State makes it really hard to win there. I agree with you, Austin. Thank you so much for your comment. I actually was watching the game with my girlfriend and her cousin. My girlfriend's a really big Golden State Warriors fan. She gets so mad whenever the Warriors don't grab a rebound or don't get a steal or something. She gets pissed. And she was really happy that they won this game, obviously, but she's kind of holding back because she knows what happened last year. I turned to her, I said, well, 2-0, but it looks like it's time for Golden State's annual Game 3 whipping in Cleveland, because I think they lost both Game 3s these past couple of years in Cleveland, and I think both Game 3s were blowouts. So yeah, the first year they went down 2-1. The second year they came and it was like a blowout in Cleveland. So I think Game 3, the most realistic expectation, even though the Warriors did kind of quote unquote blow the Cavs out in games 1 and 2, I think that the Cavs are really going to be pumped up. That Cleveland crowd is going to be absolutely rocking. It's going to be loud. Cleveland's going to be proud. The Cavs players should be proud. They're going to go out there with a lot of pride, a lot of hustle, and hopefully a lot of heart. And I think that the Warriors are it's going to be interesting to see how this Warriors team handles that wave, because that might just be the biggest wave of adversity that this Warriors team will face all year long, because they really haven't had a lot of adversity. Sure, to start out with the loss to San Antonio in their first game, that was a little bit of craziness, but for the most part, it's been a really easy season for the Warriors, especially throughout the playoffs. So hopefully the Cavs come out and we're gonna see this Warriors team, handle that. How are they gonna do it? Because Kevin Durant hasn't proved that he could, do that in the playoffs. That's why he joined the Warriors, because he felt like he couldn't get it done in Oklahoma City and what they were building there and what they built there. Can Steph and Draymond and Klay and the Warriors guys who were on last year's team get that 3-1 mentality out of their head? It's going to be very interesting. And I think if you're watching Game 3, don't get too caught up into everything the Cavs are doing. Because while it will be fun and entertaining, LeBron throwing all kinds of passes, the first thing that comes to my mind is that overhead behind the head pass that he gave Mozgov, who dunked it later on. It's really fun to watch, but I wouldn't get caught up. I would pay attention. If you want really entertaining things, I would pay attention to what Golden State looks like, what their faces look like, and how they're handling this huge wave of awesomeness that is whatever LeBron may do in Game 3. So I think that's going to be the most interesting part of Game 3. Let's go on to the chat. Meanwhile, guys, I want you guys to update me how the stream is. Is the audio not lagging? Is the video good? All of that. Please let me know. You guys are my, I need to live through your guys' eyes so you guys get the best quality content. So I'm seeing a comment here by Armando, I'm just gonna say Armando. He says LeBron was really tired, and this was a concern coming into the playoffs with the amount of minutes he played in the regular season. He did take off a couple of games and stuff like that, but Armando, I really don't think LeBron is tired. Cavs fans may use that as an excuse. They may think that, and LeBron might say it himself, but LeBron has been here before. He always plays, throughout June, even into July in the Olympic years. So, and to me, LeBron is the greatest athlete to ever play basketball, and definitely in the alpha group of athletes to ever live on this planet. Who knows, maybe the galaxy, but we're not going to get there. #Asian aliens. But I'm just saying, I don't think LeBron's tired. I still think he's kind of, charting the seas, kind of looking to how see the Warriors are defending him and his teammates. And then in Game 3, we're going to get kind of, LeBron's going to play his hand just a little bit, not too much. He's not going to play his entire hand. He's not going to go all in, but he's going to really push the chips into the table and be like, can you guys stop this? So I think he might be playing a little bit of possum there, and I think that's why Armando thinks LeBron is a little bit tired. Let's see here. Slight lag. Not too bad, though. Video delay, few seconds to audio. All right, let me change the setting here. And we're gonna change the setting really quickly and we'll get back. All right. Just so you guys get the best quality video and audio. All right, let's go to the chat here. See, Ian Dubs even says Bron was gassed for real. See, I don't buy that. I don't think LeBron is gassed. I think he may look like he is, but I don't think he actually is because he's been here before. But anyways, what else we got in the chat? Calvin says Warriors look like a different team from last year, obviously, because of KD. But I've never seen Steph this focused and energized. And that's what I want to talk about right now. Let me put up this overlay. Steph Curry. I think he was the MVP of this game. Not the finals so far, because I think all the stats put together, KD is the finals MVP if it were to end today. But I think that Steph was easily the MVP of this game. His activity, not just with the ball, but off the ball on both offense and defense, was absolutely unreal. He was drawing fouls. A lot of the fouls were stupid fouls by the Cavs, by the way. But, I think his activity, he was poking balls. He got 10 rebounds, I believe. 10 rebounds, and a lot of them came on the offensive end. When Steph Curry is the guy who's hustling the most on the floor, I mean, you got a problem as the opposing team going up against Steph Curry because his activity was so good. And you guys are mentioning his turnovers. I think he had 8 turnovers. I get that. I get that's a high number. But that just means he's trying to get the pass to his teammate. And a lot of those turnovers didn't end up with, the Cavaliers running in transition and getting points off turnovers. A lot of those were dead ball turnovers where the ball would go out of bounds. And a lot of times, guys like Zaza and Sean Livingston weren't ready for that pass, and Draymond weren't ready for that pass, or it was a little bit of miscommunication. And you could argue that's a bad play by Steph, but I think that his activity overall was so good. 32 points on only 7 made shots. Obviously, he went 7 for 17, and that's not technically ideal, but 14 for 14 from the free throw line, that's incredible. 11 assists, 10 rebounds. And those rebounds were really big. He got extra possessions. And when you could take possessions away from the other team and gain some more possessions, where a team like the Warriors, who are so deadly and can shoot the ball, you can have a 6-point swing in a matter of seconds. So I think that Steph was easily the MVP of this game. And by the way, that play on LeBron, it could have been a lot better. If it was Kyrie on LeBron, it would have looked a lot nicer. There would have been a lot more dribble moves. But what Steph did was very effective. He got LeBron, lean in, don't reach, young blood. LeBron needs to go to his homeboy, Uncle Drew, to teach him how to play a little bit of defense in that particular possession. But LeBron's really good on defense. But that play was so fun. I watched it at a restaurant, and the entire restaurant absolutely exploded. I mean, they knew, Steph knew, LeBron knew what that moment was. Steph was like, I'm going to try to get LeBron, and LeBron says, I'm going to own you just like I did, not just last year, but the year before as well. And Steph kind of got the better of him. It could have been a lot nicer, but I definitely thought LeBron was going to block that. What about you guys? Did you think LeBron was going to block that shot from Steph? Because I thought he was easily gonna block it, but I was shocked when the ball went through the hoop. But that was a pretty fun play, and Steph had a little something to say after, not toward LeBron, but he made sure LeBron could hear him, and Steph was looking to his teammates, especially at the bench. But yeah, I think Steph was really fun to watch this game. Easily the MVP. Let's see what you guys have to say about that in particular. Emmanuel Garcia says Curry is still the best shooter in the league. I agree. Jake Zarate says, man, no respect for Curry's ball handling. I know you're all about Kyrie, but come on. It's just Curry is just as good of a finisher at the rim. I agree, Jake. I agree. But Kyrie aesthetically, visually, looks a lot more fun, or looks a lot more interesting, I would say. Steph is arguably more effective, just as effective, just as good finishing the rim. I completely agree with that. But from a aesthetics point of view, the way Kyrie switches in the air, the way he dribbles, his speed, his quickness, and his quote-unquote explosiveness is just, to me, a lot more fun to watch than what Steph does. But Steph, definitely this game, the most fun player to watch on the floor, hands down. J Money Mills, shout out to J Money Mills. He says Kyrie was not playing as good as he usually does. He tried too much. J Money Mills, thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate it a lot. I agree. I think that Kyrie was super disappointed. I wrote it down in my notes here. The camera closed in on Kyrie, and he looked really disappointed in the way he was playing, but not in a put my head down kind of way. But he was just kind of like, okay, Kyrie, you need to do this. And to your point, J Money, about him trying too much, I think that's Kyrie. You got to live with that. Kyrie said, look, I'm not playing enough. I'm going to try to get myself out of this funk. I think that if he were to defer to his teammates like Love or LeBron, I think that in a certain way that's okay. But I think with Kyrie, it's better that you ride Kyrie and say, Kyrie, try to get yourself out of this funk. Because when Kyrie's on, as we all know, Kyrie is absolutely on. So I'm okay with Kyrie trying to get himself out of the funk. I could see why some people would say he's trying to do too much. But like I said, I think that that's a good thing. He's not just standing in the corner, which, can be a problem when you have so much talent on the floor like the Cavs do, with their 3 All-Stars. Let's see what else we got on the chat here. Daniel Perez says, LaFonda giving up on defense. He's saving his energy for that offense. Daniel, we talked about this a little earlier because Armando, and by the way, Daniel, thanks for joining the stream. Armando said he thought LeBron looked tired, and we talked a little bit about this. I don't know if you heard it, but I think that LeBron isn't tired. I just think that he's not fully going 100%. He's kind of playing possum, and he's trying to figure out everything so that he could really, turn the tides. A lot of, nautical, metaphors in this stream, but so that he could really turn the tables when they go back to Cleveland. Because look, at the end of the day, the Warriors did what they were supposed to do. They're up 2-0. They protected home court. Now the Cavs are going back to Cleveland. They got to do what they're supposed to do. And we could be coming back to Oakland tied 2-2. And boom, it's a series again. And Game 5 is going to be massive. So, with everything we're saying, are the Cavs done? Can the Warriors sweep? All of this craziness and nonsense, in my opinion. It's only 2-0, and we still got 2 games to play in Cleveland. And we know how Game 3 is in Cleveland work out for the Warriors. So that's what I would say about LeBron giving up on defense. So let's see. Let's go on to Coffee All Day. See, Coffee All Day says LeBron was done in the third. Everett M says LeBron is playing possum. Give me a break. It's the finals. Everett, we know LeBron does this. I mean, LeBron always plays possum in pretty much every game. I mean, not every game, but in pretty much every season, he has a really a big troll moment, and he does that. He does it all the time, and I think that if you read a lot up on LeBron, one of the biggest advocates for LeBron's mastery or genius on the basketball floor is that reporter on ESPN. What's his name? Brian Windhorst. And he always says LeBron is always thinking. LeBron is always trying to find that edge, whether it be physical or mental, against his opponent. And I think that he's doing that here. I mean, all of you guys are saying LeBron is tired. I just don't buy it. He's been playing basketball like this, and sure, he's getting older, but we saw that he was explosive against Iguodala. He had some explosive transition plays. So I think that he's not tired. I don't think so. I think that he's just kind of taking a wide angle view of how things are going, in my opinion, if that makes sense. Alan Gonzalez is asking me to talk about the fight at the end. There was a little fight where the Cavs exit the floor. There was a scuffle, and it looked like punches were being thrown, but it was really just pushes, and there were violent pushes. I mean, it was a crowded area, but I think what happened was, I think this guy wanted to go out and exit when you're not supposed to. When the players are going through, you're not supposed to exit there. And a female security guard was there, and she was, had the back against these 3 men. And one of one of the guys wanted to go in, and these two other guys were kind of stopping him from going. And when he might have been drunk or whatever, because it gets pretty lit in there, I think that they pushed him violently. It kind of looked like they all knew each other, but it also, I could believe that they didn't know each other and it was just an altercation. But it looked like a lot worse than it actually was. If you replay, there was just a lot of pushing and the guy fell over, so it looked like he followed through with the punch. But that was a pretty crazy moment. LeBron kind of pushed the security guard that was escorting him through that exit to kind of be like, hey, like, go do your job now. I don't think LeBron was trying to be like, you get in between me and him, I don't want to get hurt. Part of that could be true because LeBron's body is how he makes a living and he doesn't want to get hurt in the finals, obviously. But I think it was more of like a dude, go do your job look, because that security guard was just kind of looking at the situation while his female coworker was just like getting pushed around. So that was a really weird moment. I'm glad the TV caught that because it was very interesting. Let's move on to the chat. Connor Rosenoff says Curry's finally playing like an MVP in this finals, and the results are showing. I agree with you. I think that Curry is playing very well this series, and I think it's very fun to watch. Despite him only going 17 for 17, as you can see here, I think that he played very well. Let's talk a little bit about the other star player for the Warriors, and a guy who I think would be the finals MVP if the finals ended today, and that's Kevin Durant. 33 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, but here's the most impressive part to me. 3 steals and 5 blocks. If you guys have been following me for a while now, you would know that I'm a huge fan of KD. I love the way he plays. I've seen him live, and I'm telling you guys, if you have a chance to see Kevin Durant live, take that chance because it really is amazing. This guy is 7 feet tall, and it's a freak of nature. This guy should not be allowed to do what he's doing. He's obviously a glitch in the system. I mean, it's amazing. I saw him play against my Lakers, and it was just amazing. But what I want to say about Kevin Durant is, I'm a huge fan of him, obviously, but I never really believed that he had that, 100% effort gene. His days in Oklahoma and even this year in Golden State, he had possessions where he just took him off. He just stands around. He doesn't really cut to the basket. He doesn't really contest every shot. He doesn't dive on the floor. I mean, have you ever seen Kevin Durant dive on the floor? I can't picture that in my mind right now. And, he is lanky. He is thin, so he could be trying to protect his body. But this is the finals, man. And I remember in game 1 early, he didn't dive on the ball, and the Cavs got the ball, and Kyrie hit a 3. I said, look, Kevin, that's when you got to dive on that ball and keep the ball out of the other team's hands, or else you're going to get, points up on the board for them, just like how it actually happened. So I was like kind of concerned, but then he turned it up in game 1, and boy, did he turn it up in game 2. 3 steals, 5 blocks, obviously with all that length. I mean, if he wasn't so thin, we'd be expecting him to get at least 3 blocks every game. But since he plays small forward, since he's not in the paint a whole lot, we don't expect blocks from him. But he's 7 feet tall, guys. So, 5 blocks is really impressive to me, especially that one block he had against Kevin Love in the post. Kevin tried to do a hook turnaround shot. Kevin just swallowed it. And I forget what happened. I think he went on to get an and one after that, and the crowd got crazy. But I remember that play converted into points for Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant, I think that in the finals so far, he's been really good about really giving an all-out effort, and this isn't something that I've really seen from him all the time in his days in Oklahoma, and even in this season during the regular season and throughout the playoffs. But you could say that he really didn't need to do it this playoffs because it was so easy for the Warriors. But what did you guys think about KD in this game in particular? And do you agree, if the finals ended today, would he be the finals MVP? Because I certainly think so. Angel Barrios, I hope I said that right. Thanks for joining. He says, Russell Westbrook is a ball hog and the OKC team is garbage. I think the organization wasn't listening to him. Yeah, Angel, you should go check out my video about where I thought Kevin Durant was going to end up before he made his decision. I pretty much went through the list of the things that went wrong in Oklahoma and how unacceptable they were in the eyes of a guy like Kevin Durant. So you should check that out if you haven't checked it out. Just type it in. Where will Kevin Durant go? Jiraman. I think that's what the video is called. So Malcolm Richardson says he'd absolutely be the MVP. Darth Mike says, I still feel like the Cavs will come out on top. I could see that. I could definitely see that going. Austin Bennett says the Cavs need to have LeBron take it to the hole. That bully ball offense was the one thing that made the Cavs win last year. I think that LeBron has been going to the hole a lot, and I think that the game got out of hand when he took 3 straight contested perimeter shots. That's really when the game got out of hand, where you were like, okay, the Warriors win. So I think that he has been going to the hole a lot, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I got to see the numbers. Let's see here. Joseph says, how salty would Russ be if he was Finals MVP? Well, apparently not. Russ is too busy watching Sister Act 2 with Whoopi Goldberg, so I don't think he's really concerned with any of this. Jake Zarate says, Kyrie can't get through Klay even if Klay Thompson's offense is off. His D is phenomenal. Jake, I agree with you. Klay Thompson's defense has been absolutely fantastic. I saw that stat in game 1 where the Cavs were like 1 for 11 or 1 for 12 against Klay Thompson when he was defending the shooter, or in ISO situations. I'm not exactly sure what the stat was, but I know that the stat was like 1 for 11 or 1 for 12 against Klay Thompson. So I agree with you. His offense was a little better this night. Wasn't phenomenal, but it was decent. But his defense was absolutely fantastic in both games 1 and 2. And that's one thing you can't take away from guys who play defense. You know, it's really, you know, you could have a bad offensive night, but defense, you kind of are consistent no matter what's going on the other side of the floor. So I agree with you, Jake. I think that Klay's offense, or defense rather, was spectacular. Brandon Hamilton, shout out to Brandon, long time viewer. He's always one of the first guys to comment on my videos whenever they go live. He's definitely on the notification squad. So shout out to Brandon Hamilton. Thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate it a lot. Now, I want to talk about JaVale McGee for a second, okay? JaVale McGee, if you guys were in my last stream, you guys would know that I thought JaVale played very well, and I wanted to see him play more. I think he only played like 7 minutes. Again, in this game, game 2, he didn't play a lot. He played 3 minutes. But when he was on the floor, he got 2 points, an alley-oop, which was awesome. What a great pass by KD. How many 7-footers can make that pass? And then JaVale kind of jumped over or through Kevin Love, and it was a semi-poster. But he had 3 rebounds. One of them was offensive. I thought he played good. I don't know what it is. I think that it's either the Warriors don't trust him with extended minutes, or the McGee isn't conditioned enough to play extended minutes in the finals, or a third one. I'm going to add on a third one, that they're afraid that he'll get stupid fouls. He did have that foul against LeBron, but I think with anyone else, no one's making that basket. LeBron is so strong, he kind of just brushed off McGee when McGee was trying with all of his strength to weigh LeBron down. LeBron still went up and made that basket. But Savage Sonny says JaVale has asthma issues. I know he has asthma issues, but he plays 3 minutes and he never came back. You know, play him 6 minutes. Go do your thing with the asthma. I played with teammates who have had asthma. None of them were 7 feet like JaVale McGee, but you know, they play a little, they get whatever they need, then they come back out. They come back in, then they come back out, get whatever they need, and it's that constant cycle. I'm not an expert on asthma. I just know that, you know, you could play more than 3 minutes in the NBA Finals, especially if you're playing well, if you have asthma. But, I mean, you guys definitely aren't in the same boat as me, because a lot of you said are just saying he's got defensive issues, and you guys are just laughing at the whole McGee thing. Man, I think McGee's playing awesome, and I just love him out on the floor. Just saying, who does not like saying JaVale McGee? People love saying JaVale McGee, like how Shaq does on Shaq and the Fool, because you could say it when he does something good, and you could say it when he does something stupid. Which, you know, with JaVale, it's either or. There's no like, oh, that was solid. It was either like, wow, or oh my God, JaVale, what are you doing? So I think that's why people love talking about JaVale McGee or watching JaVale, because you could hate on him or you could love on him at any given moment. And I want to see more JaVale. Who knows? Maybe he plays more on the road, because Zaza, he only played 13 minutes. He's not playing that well. 2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 turnovers. I mean, that's pretty much the same stat line as JaVale McGee, and JaVale did it in 10 less minutes. So I really love watching JaVale McGee. I don't know about you guys. But you guys are asking about Iggy. Chandra is asking about Iggy. He has to show that he's the 6th man of the year. So, Iguodala, let's see what his stats were. 2 for 6, 1 for 4. But that 1 3 that he hit was a really big one. He had 5 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and a block. Iggy was not playing very well this playoffs, but I thought he had a really good season. Not numbers-wise. I thought that he looked great physically. He was attacking the rim. I think that in the back of his head, after LeBron blocked Iguodala, I think 2 things could have happened. A, Iguodala could have been shook for the rest of his life to ever make a layup in transition ever again. Whenever he had a transition wide open layup, it could have been LeBron is always in his head, and he's always thinking he's going to get blocked from behind no matter who he's playing against, especially when he's playing against the Cavs. So I think that could have happened, or he could have been a lot more aggressive, and he's like, I'm not laying it in anymore. I'm dunking it. And what happened was Iggy dunked it more. This year, he had a lot of dunks where it surprised me. I was like, wow, he dunked that? And you forget how athletic Iguodala was. By the way, Iguodala got absolutely robbed of a dunk contest championship against Nate Robinson. He won that dunk contest. Please debate me in the chat. But in my mind, Iguodala easily won that dunk contest against Nate Robinson. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, you forget how athletic Andre Iguodala is, and I think this season he had a lot of those moments where I was just like, wow, he looks good. Then the playoffs, he was probably hurt. He was hurt, so it was a concern. Can he ramp it back up in the finals? And you know what, so far he's been looking pretty good. Iguodala is one of those players where the numbers aren't going to wow you. It's going to be what he does on the floor, and I think that he's been playing decent on the floor. He played 28 minutes. He was a +9. That's the best out of any bench player of the Warriors in Game 2. So, I think Iguodala's been playing pretty good. But Nike Addict, welcome back, Nike Addict. I remember you from the last stream. He says they don't need Iggy to score. He just needs to guard LeBron, be a playmaker, and make open shots when he gets them. I agree, man, and that's why his numbers are never going to wow you, because he's going to do the little things and the right things, and he's going to be counted on to come up big. Whether he does or not, we don't know, but I think so far it really hasn't been a problem if he hasn't showed up. But in my opinion, he's been playing pretty well. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Darth Mike says the only reason Nate won that dunk contest was because of his height. I agree with you. I think, they played to the little guy, but, man, Iguodala had one of the best dunks. The one from behind the backboard with AI. It was an AI to AI connection, and it was just fantastic. Underrated pass by Allen Iverson, and I think Iguodala scraped his eye on that dunk. I mean, it was just, I've never seen a dunk like that. It was fantastic. But now let's talk a little bit about LeBron. Let's look at his stat line. He had 29 points, shot very well, 12 for 18, 14 assists, and 11 rebounds. And I think this is a really good line from LeBron, but we talked a little bit earlier. A lot of you guys think he was tired. I don't think he's tired. I think that he's, I don't know, holding back's the wrong way to put it, but I think that he's just, I don't think he's in desperation mode yet. I think desperation LeBron is scary. Any version of LeBron is scary. But desperation LeBron is just like, it's like a warhead. It's like you never know what's going to happen. So let me go into the chat. What did you guys think of LeBron in this game in general? And I don't want to hear that he was tired anymore, because we already heard that. Angel Burial says, Iggy's like Manu Ginobili. You have a good quarter or two. He's old. He was good when he was with the 76ers, but they didn't build around him. Okay, interesting take there. I think best case scenario, Manu versus Iguodala. What do you guys think? The best versions of Iguodala versus the best version of Manu Ginobili one-on-one, who wins? Who would you rather have on your team, actually, is a better question. So, the best version of Iguodala versus the best version of Manu Ginobili, who would you rather have on your team? I'm taking Ginobili. I just love Ginobili. He's awesome. He's so fun to watch. Lefty, just his creativity on offense, his scrappiness on defense. And it's hard because Iggy's really good on defense. But I would have to pick Manu Ginobili all the way. Let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. Sebastian Pablo, thanks for joining the stream. He says Manu all the way. Alan Gonzalez also says Manu over Iggy. Michael Tran says Iggy. Nesta 113 says Iggy. Lee, what is this name? Lee Yeetus says Manu. Ryan Yull says Iggy if you put him on the Spurs. So, so far pretty split. Nike Addict says Iggy. James 2134. Welcome back, James. I remember you. He says Ginobili. Soccer Sneakerhead says Iggy. Manu. So, Johnny Gonzalez says, come on, son. Iggy. So I think it's not split. It's a little bit more Manu than Iggy, but it's close. It's close, guys. I would say it's about 60-40 right now. Okay, 65-35. We just got a couple more Manus, a couple more Iggy's. It's looking more 50-50, but that's a fun question. Who would you rather have? The best version of Iggy or the best version of Manu Ginobili? But let's move on to Game 3 and my prediction and what you guys think or what you guys want to see in Game 3. If you're just joining the stream, we talked about earlier, I think that Game 3 is going to be a whooping. Because historically in these past two finals, 2015 and 2016, the Warriors have walked into Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio, downtown Cleveland, and they've got run out the building both times. So, the most realistic prediction would have to be that the Cavs are going to come out with a lot of energy, and they're going to really put a romp him on the Warriors. I hope it's a close game, but here's the thing: if the Cavs have a 25-point lead in the third quarter, it's not over. If they have a 25-point lead in the fourth quarter, it might be over. But see, if the Warriors have a 25-point lead in the fourth quarter in Golden State, it's more than likely over. But with the Warriors on the flip side, if they're visiting in another arena, it might be over in the fourth quarter. But because the Warriors have so much shooting, they can get back into the game like that. So even if it does start to look like a blowout, I think the Warriors are always in the game because of their shooting. So what do you guys think about Game 3? What's going to happen? Like I said, I think the Cavs are going to pull it out, and I think it might be by double digits. I think that they're going to be motivated. They don't want to go down 3-0. It's a pride thing. I think that this entire Cavs team has a lot of pride because Cleveland has a lot of pride as the city. So Nike Addict is asking a very interesting question. He says, you think the Cavs look to hire a new coach, or do you think Braun likes having him be his puppet so that he could run the show? Yes, to both things. I think that they should look to hire, but I think LeBron likes to have a guy that, he is a bigger personality than. I think that's why he left Miami, because Pat Riley, had cast his shadow over that organization. Rightfully so. Pat Riley is a legend. And, I think LeBron wanted to do some things different than Eric Spoelstra. And Pat, if Eric Spoelstra, obviously now, this is a stupid question if you put it in the context of today, but if back in 2010, in the heat of the Heatles, pun intended, in that Heat era, if LeBron James was tied up with a rope and there were sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their freaking heads below him, and on the other side of the room, there was Eric Spoelstra, and he was in the same situation, and Pat Riley could have chose one to save. I think Pat Riley might have took Eric Spoelstra. I don't know. I don't know this for sure because LeBron is obviously you could be like, oh, LeBron's a one-of-a-kind talent. I don't want him to die. But I think that Pat Riley had Eric Spoelstra back so much, almost to a fault. That's what made LeBron eventually leave. So I don't know. It's all speculation, but that's just what I saw, the chemistry between them. I think that LeBron wanted to run the show, and Pat said, no, Spo is the boss, and that's kind of where things went sour. Connor says, if Cleveland loses this series 4-0 or 4-1, do you think they'll be aggressive towards getting Hayward, Paul, or Carmelo? I think that getting Hayward or Paul is very unlikely because the money and all of that stuff, especially Hayward. He's going to be looking to get a huge paycheck. He didn't get the thing about Hayward is the Jazz didn't think he was worth a max contract when he was a free agent last. And they told him, look, you're a restricted free agent. If you get a max offer, we'll match it. But we don't know if you're worth that. And that was kind of a slap in the face to Hayward. So he actually was going to get a max offer from Cleveland. Then LeBron's team called and was like, yo, you guys need to meet us pronto. And while Gordon Hayward was in the building, in the Cavs facility, and they were just about to offer him a contract, they got that call and they said, you know what, Hayward, thanks for coming. We'll be in touch. Basically saying, in other words, thanks but no thanks. And that was from Brian Windhorst. He wrote that in his newly released book. I forget what the book was called, but that's what happened with Hayward. So I think that Hayward's going to be looking for a big contract. Paul, also, this might be his last big contract. Carmelo, that one's interesting. I think that they can make something work with trades. And Carmelo, I could see him, working things out to play with LeBron. And Dwayne Wade. I think all those guys want to play together. I think Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo, and LeBron, those four guys, they all want to play together at least once in their career. And it seems like now would be the right time before all of them, go over the hill, if you want to call it like that. But Clue GG says, D Wade for Cleveland. We need the Flash. I think that's a real possibility, guys. I think we might be seeing Dwayne Wade team up with LeBron, and I think it'll be in Cleveland for sure. Someone says D Wade will not leave because he has 20 million reasons not to leave. You're right, but you're right. Actually, D Wade is really about that money. That's why he left Miami. But I don't know. D Wade has a lot of money elsewhere, so I don't know. He might take less to play with LeBron again. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I am Victor 7 says, will the Dubs keep their core for 1 or more 2 years with their star players taking pay cuts? Yes, Victor. I think if their star players take pay cuts, they could definitely keep their core. I think that they're under contract. Their core is under contract. Granted, Steph and Durant re-sign. They're under contract for 1 more year. Clay might be the odd man out. He might end up going somewhere else. But Durant recently said he's willing to take a pay cut. I think that's a bunch of baloney. I think that KD is just saying that to be nice. I think that we're going to see a core of Draymond, KD, and Steph, for a long time. And I think that Clay might be the odd man out here. But you never know. I never thought we'd see 4 guys of this caliber talent on the same team, but here we are talking about them in the 2017 NBA Finals. Baller Life, the NBA will veto a trade that would send Melo to the Cavs. I disagree, Baller Life. David Stern might, but not Adam Silver. He wouldn't. No. Especially after what the Knicks did. Especially if the Knicks get a good deal. If they could somehow get a good deal for Melo, I don't think they'll veto the trade, the NBA. Let's see here. Who else we got? Ian Dub says, would the Cavs trade Shump and JR for Melo? That would be so hilarious. Yeah, that would be hilarious. But no, I don't think the Knicks would want that, honestly. But that would be hilarious if JR and Shump got traded for Carmelo. That would be so funny. Nike Addict is asking me, or he's saying, still mad at the CP3 Laker trade. Yeah, that's a bummer. As a Laker fan myself, that was a bummer. I remember exactly where I was for that Laker trade news. I got the news. I was in a history class that was being taught by this old Japanese guy who really didn't teach anything. He just talked story all day. But anyways, I was freaking out. I had to go outside because I was freaking out. I went back inside, and by the time the class was over, the trade was vetoed, and I was pissed. Anyways, guys, let's get back on track. Game 3. Who do you think will win? And I want you guys to make your finals prediction again after the game 2 is in your head. Let me put this lower third up there so you guys can have a visual. Game 3 predictions and your series prediction. I think based on what we're seeing, I think I'm going to say Warriors in 6. But I think game 3 will go to the Cavaliers. So that's what I think. Let's see what you guys think in the chat. Austin Bennett says the Cavs will win in 7. That's what you guys said. That's what Austin said. Cavs will win. Not might. Will win in 7. I hope for your sake, Austin, that they do. So let the chat breathe a little bit. So give me your finals predictions and your game 3 predictions, and I'll go over all of them. And meanwhile, while you guys are doing that, let's talk about these 2 sneakers. I have these out here for a purpose. Let's start with this one right here. This is the LeBron 9 Elite, guys. This is one of my favorite colorways ever. You know, I just love this colorway. I think these were called the Taxis. You got the obviously the yellow and the black. My carbon fiber is kind of fogging up. These have been in the box forever, guys. Yeah, this needs to be clean. But then you got the red on this swoosh. The LeBron 9 Elite was so much better than the LeBron 9, in my opinion. You might like I can't talk right now. You might like the materials more in the regular 9, but I just like the way the 9 Elite looks a lot better. I just love this. Obviously, the black outsole. These were pretty good on-court performer as well. But remember the Nike Basketball Elite thing? That was so funny. Now we don't even have that anymore, or they don't make such a big deal out of it anymore. But that was so funny, the whole Elite trend. These are the Curry 1s. A lot of you guys think the Curry 1 is the best looking Curry signature model. I like the 3 personally. Especially I like how they look on feet, but that's because I like mid cuts. This was a little bit more of a high than a mid. They may technically be the same height, but the Curry 3 fits more like a mid. But the Curry 1 was a really dope signature. Really great way to start out Steph Curry signature line with Under Armour. This is one of my favorite colorways of the Curry 3 Low. This is like the Panthers colorway. Obviously, Curry is a Panthers fan. But it's just got a nice shade of that Panther teal or blue or whatever you want to call it. Metallic silver hits on the branding and a lot of black, just like the Panthers. I think that this is really nice. White outsole. So, yeah, there they are. These are the 2 sneakers of the finals. Maybe the next stream I'll bring out my KD and my Kyrie's. KD's and my Kyrie. I only have one Kyrie. So, but it's a really nice Kyrie. So, those are the 2 sneakers. Let's see what you guys have to say about the chat, about your finals predictions. We got Kevin Shen saying, wait, I lost it. Let me go back up. All right, I think I'm getting it back. All right, Kevin Shen says Warriors in 5. I got Chris Meacham saying game 3. Going to Cleveland. I agree. Got another Warriors in 5. I got Nike Addict. Shout out to him being very active in the chat. Cavs win their first game, but Warriors in 5. Interesting. Chris Meacham, who said game 3 going to Cleveland. He says Golden State's going to win the finals. He didn't give us a game or how many games. We got Alan Gonzalez says Cavs win game 3, but Warriors win in 6. Michael Tran, Warriors in 5. Ian Dubb says Warriors in 6, just to be safe. Wood thinks sweep, but too soon. I agree with you. I think it's okay to think about a sweep. I think it's realistic because, look, the Warriors are up 2-0 and they blew them out in both games. I think it's realistic, but I don't think it's likely. Baller Life, he's going all the way. He's saying Warriors in 4. Warriors are going to sweep. That'd be crazy. The Warriors would go 16-0, the first team ever to go undefeated for an entire postseason. That would be crazy, but that wouldn't be as crazy as another Game 7. Game 7s beat anything in basketball. We got Space Kick saying Warriors in 5. Mason Myers, he says Warriors in 5. Iba Henna 16, hopefully I'm saying that right. He says Warriors in 5. I got Lance De La Cruz says Cavs in 7. Yes, people, he still believes. That's what he says. I still believe. All right. We got Drew. He says Game 3. He thinks the Warriors are going to win Game 3. So that's interesting. Carlos Molina, Warriors in 4 or possibly sweep. Carlos, if the Warriors win in 4, that is a sweep. So he said Warriors in 4 or a sweep. No, Carlos. Warriors in 4 is a sweep. He might be meaning to say 5. But we got John Landkammer saying Game 3, Cavs by 25 or 30. So here he is again. He thinks that the Cavs are going to blow out the Warriors in Game 3 again like they did in the past 2 finals. Are you still down? Says Golden State in 5. Brandon Hamilton, shout out Brandon. He said Warriors in 5 or 6. That's the most likely. That's what we're getting mostly. Warriors in 5 or 6. Calvin says Cavs win close one as their bench steps up. So we got pretty much a lot of you guys are agreeing Cavs are going to win Game 3, but the Warriors are going to win in either 5 or 6. That's the most likely outcome. We got a couple of people out there saying Cavs are still going to win this thing, but usually, pretty much all the time, if you think the Cavs are going to win, everyone's putting them down in 7. And, I get why you guys are saying that because of what happened last year. The Warriors did not win a Game 7, but this is a different Warriors team. So imagine if last year's Game 7, instead of Harrison Barnes, you put Kevin Durant in there. Do the Cavs win? I don't know. I don't know, guys. I think it's safe to say that they wouldn't win. I also think that it's likely that they would win still with Kevin. I don't know. I haven't seen Kevin Durant step up in a Game 7 yet, so it's going to be interesting to see if it does go Game 7, but I don't think we're going to get there. Shout out Ronnie Hodge, who asked for a shout out. Sebastian Pablo says KD a choker, though. That's what I mean. I don't know if he's going to be good in the Game 7. I have no idea. I would like him to be good in the Game 7 because he's fun to watch when he's on fire, but I don't know. Can he do it? I mean, he blew that 3-1 lead against the Warriors, and they didn't really have a lot of guys to guard him. Yeah, Iggy, yeah, Barnes, but come on. KD, 7-footer, one of the best scorers of all time? No. 3-1 lead? I don't know. So, I don't know. But anyways, guys, I think we're done for this chat. We're rounding out 52 minutes. I want to thank everyone who watched the chat. I appreciate you guys. This is my favorite thing to do. I'm probably going to be going to the watch party in Oracle for Game 3. So that live stream might come the day after. Or I might just put up a regular video, not a live stream. What do you guys want me to do? Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you want a live stream or just a regular video where I edited it and everything. But it's either going to be coming a few hours after Game 3 or it's going to be coming a day after Game 3. I don't really know. I like doing them right after the game, within a couple of hours because it's fresh in everyone's mind and everyone's still thinking about it. Whereas the next day, you guys might be losing interest. So I'm going to try to be doing a live stream after Game 3. But like I said, I'm probably going to be going to the watch party. Those are so fun. If you can ever go to a watch party, it's just like going to a game, except it's much cheaper and obviously the players aren't in the same building as you, but it's super fun. But again, thank you so much for watching, guys. Everyone in the chat, this is super fun. I love hearing what you guys think because everyone has a different opinion, just as long as it's respectful. But thank you. Jake says he's getting tickets to the watch party. I will definitely see you there, Jake. So I'm gonna be you know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be with my boys at the bar. So you just find me at one of the bars. My boys are crazy. So definitely, Jake, hit me up on Instagram or something, Jake. DM me. Try to get a hold of me. Anything you can do. I love meeting with you guys, especially in the finals. Trust me, Jake. You're going to have a lot of fun if you meet up with me and my boys. My boys go crazy. But again, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Remember, keep an eye out for that. Hopefully Game 3 is is a little bit different than what we've been getting. Either Cleveland wins or it's a close game. I don't really care. I just want to be entertained. So shout out to everyone. Shout out Don Jose, Gunnar Kick, Sebastian Pablo, Nike Addict, Calvin, Brandon Hamilton, Jake Zarate. Shout out to all of these people. Thanks for joining the chat, the stream. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.